say also that the number one cause of all kinds of cancers and many other diseases is tobacco use.
Is what?
Smoking, tobacco.
Yes.
And while, especially in California, smoking rates are going down, but with immigrants coming in from other countries, and especially from Asia, smoking rates in Asian communities are going up.
Yes.
And especially in the young population, and we have got to get our communities to stop smoking. Absolutely.
Definitely, definitely.
Well, Susan, you've made this entire adventure or journey of yours into a life work of advocacy now to inform those Asians and Asian Pacific Islanders here in the country now to get more information. That's number one, I guess, is that part of it. But tell us exactly what other things are you doing out in the community? You're here in Houston to do the support network and telling everyone about your story, but nationally, what other things are you doing?
Well, I used to work, as I said, at a cancer center, and I've had 2 breast cancers 10 years apart, and in between I was diagnosed with a recurrent, I got a recurrent diagnosis of cancer in my spine. It turns out that probably wasn't a cancer diagnosis, but I was treated for it. And one of the things that caused them to give me that diagnosis was a certain kind of pain that I had. I had many other symptoms, and that all of the symptoms went away when I had treatment except for the chronic pain. And the chronic pain is bad enough that I'm not able to work anymore. I would go crazy if I sat home and watched soap operas, and excuse me for anybody that loves soap operas, but I've always been so active, and I was always working late, and probably like you. So I wanted to get involved. I was already involved in cancer advocacy, and so I just wholeheartedly put all of my heart and soul literally into cancer advocacy. I work with a number of different organizations, both mainstream American Cancer Society, Susan G. Komen Foundation, Lance Armstrong Foundation, as well as a lot of the organizations that are focused on minority populations, not just Asian Pacific Islanders, but on all minority, poor, and underserved populations. A lot of people don't know that minority populations have higher rates of death due to cancer, unnecessary death due to cancer, but also poor whites have that same high rate of death due to cancer. There's an organization that's based right here in Houston called the Intercultural Cancer Council that was started by 2 doctors. One was at MD Anderson and one was at Baylor. And it's an organization that focuses on minority populations as well as poor populations.
Well, you know, Ed, let me tell you something. If I saw Susan walking down the street, or like when I met her, you would not think she had any cancer. I mean, she's beautiful. You've got long hair. I mean, you know, what you associate with people with cancer is that they're either wearing a wig or a scarf of some kind. And you're just so, you know, I mean, you're just an excellent example of someone that's out there that's surviving and just really telling the story.
I think because that's the message.
I mean, no one would ever guess you had cancer, and you look so much younger than your age. And we're not going to talk about ages here, but you look so much younger than your age. And so, I mean, you're really truly a wonderful advocate, you know, in spreading the word.
I think that is part of the important message, is to let people know that cancer is not an automatic death sentence. The important thing is to find it early so that you have the best chance of getting quick treatment and a cure. And when people see someone that has had cancer for 18, 19, 20 years and doesn't look like they've had cancer, I think that's a good message. When I was first diagnosed, well, actually, when we started the organization, the Reverend Frank Chong, he was a 26-year survivor of cancer. And to me, that was amazing.
It is.
And he unfortunately passed away a couple of years ago, but he had survived with cancer for over 36 years.
Fuji, why don't you tell us a little bit more about your organization and how often you meet here in Houston so people here locally could contact you, perhaps. Tell us a little bit about how often you meet and what you all do.
Okay. Yes. Actually, our Cancer Support Network, we started like in 2001. And the first we started with just the first Saturday. And then we invite all cancer types. Everybody can come. You have any type of cancers, and even they don't want to tell us, they can come to our support group. We have speakers. So that's the first Saturday, okay, at the Chinese Bible Church in the Chinatown area. But like I said, 2 years ago, in 2007, because we have so many breast cancer survivors, and then we start to talk to each other, and just privately, individually, and then the three of us, and there are two other ladies, okay, and they just said, you know what, maybe we should just make a more organized way, and then we can share the resources, provide the help more better way instead of just individual mouth to mouth talk. So that's why in 2007, and we started breast cancer support program.
Do you have men come to the group now? Since
the general one, yes, but not the breast cancer.
Well, I mean, in general, you're through the cancer group itself,
Yes,
because
we have,
it's a support network. Because we talked about
Yes,
some
we
of the
have mentioned.
barriers that we as Asians face. You mentioned the organizations that you've been involved with, but those are all mainstream Asian mainstream organizations that many Asians may or may not be involved with, even be aware of. But tell us about some of the barriers you've had in trying to draw people out into.
In fact,
to
you
your
made a
network.
good point, because now we have a breast cancer support group. For several years, we really want to start a male support group, okay, for Chinese community. So far, I have not convinced, because we do have lots of male survivors.
Right.
And they have lots of reasons to tell me they're not going to do it. Either they are not retired yet and they are busy. But I think that's one of the major barriers, because because there are sometimes, I think when men go through this cancer treatment, they need to find someone who they can relate
Yes.
it to.
Correct.
Just like a woman, we like to talk to each other like a breast cancer survivor. But so far, I think that's one of the major barriers. Okay? Another barrier is like just the cultural stigma. Okay, I think we changed. I think in Houston, like Susan, she had just mentioned earlier, we changed quite a lot in the last several years because we have so many support groups. But still, I think there are lots of them out there. They just feel like very shameful. Feel like this is something burden to me, to my family, so I don't want anybody to know.
Well, due to television, there's so much that's discussed. I mean, you would never think that people would talk about prostate cancer and then them showing a male, organ, so to speak, in a professional way on television and talking about prostate cancer. And likewise with the women breast cancer. I mean, you see this on television. So because everyone is more open about things, hopefully we can get more of our Asians and other minority groups to be a little bit more
Right.
open. Because I think that's one of the problems is many of the minority groups have been very shy and denial as far as that's concerned too, and talking about it.
Well, one of the main reasons I appreciate this show is that your audience is going to hear about this, and they're going to hear about it from two women that are Asian, that have survived, that are doing very well, and are
Right.
Yes.
reaching out and helping the community.
Yes.
And I think that's a very important message. People need to see that there are survivors, and that there are other people that look like them, that sound like them,
That's right.
that have had cancer, and that they're dealing with it and can help somebody else that's going through it as well.
That's what in last 2 years ago, right, 2008, when I saw her in that conference, and then she's just amazing to me because look at how many years she survived, how many recurrence. Because for a cancer survivor, another thing is really the recurrence.
Yeah, very scary.
Yeah, very scary. It's very scary. So now if you can see that she's 3 times and she can do so many works, then lots of women will say, well, maybe I can survive. I can
right.
just do something.
right.
Yeah.
Well, ladies, is there a way for the audience to contact either one of you with questions, or if they need information from you? Maybe they want to join the local support group,
Yes.
or maybe they need to get in touch with you to help you with your journey.
Absolutely. We have a website. It's National Cancer Survivors, NCSN.org.
Okay.
So it's Asia Pacific Islander National Cancer Survivors Network. So it's the acronym for
We'll
that.
put that on the screen later.
Great.
Yeah, we have local phone numbers our office actually is in the Chinese Community Center, which is in center of the Chinatown. Our phone number is 713-988-7574, and we do have a website, but unfortunately our website 99% are written in Chinese because that's what we're trying to help. But our website is www.light, L-I-G-H-T, it just like hyphen,
Hyphen.
yeah, and SALT, SALT.org.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much. I think that our audience, and I know that I learned quite a bit from the two of you too, that will really enjoy this particular segment because I'm telling you, we're opening, Edmund, this is the first time I think we've opened something like this and talked the whole program, both segments, on one topic. And we want to congratulate you for doing so well and for spreading the word and being such a wonderful advocate and coming to Houston too.
Delighted to be
Thank you.
here.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you,
Join-
ladies.
Join us
you.
next time for the Asian Insights. Thank you.